Well, folks, thank you for coming over today and checking out the channel here at Gideon's Tactical. I'm excited for this camp knife, bushcraft knife, possibly larger, heavier bushcraft knife maybe, that we're taking a look at today. Today we have the Tops Brakimo that we're going to be taking a look at. And we're gonna see how this baby can perform. Now, it's got some super easy, super classic designs. And by easy, I mean good, just simple. There's nothing crazy going on with it. Just a simple micarta 1095 steel blade. Kydex sheath we're going to look at. And this is designed by Joe Flowers, and I've reviewed several of Joe Flowers' other designs. And not only is he somebody who knows his stuff in the wilderness, but is also a really good knife designer. The Shango XL from Tops is one of my favorite lightweight stainless steel blades. Awesome design. And he's designed this knife, and particularly for his jaunts down to, I believe, the Colombian jungle, if I remember correctly, is where they go for the Bushcraft Global, which is his company, if I remember correctly, that he has kind of designed this knife to be paired with people who go down there to go do their survival training and their tasks that they do down there. This was designed specifically to be partnered with that adventure and that trek. So that's really cool. So we're going to take a look at it today, show you the pros, show you the cons, show you what it can do, its capabilities and limitations, and hopefully help you decide whether or not the Brakimo is going to be a good bushcraft / camp knife for you, or is there other stuff on the market. That's what we're going to take a look at here today. So let's go ahead, hop to it, see what this knife can do. Impressive. All right, business end of the knife, the blade. Now, this blade is right over 5 inches, which I think is a perfect sweet spot for a camp knife or a larger bushcraft knife. We're looking at a full tang, obviously, 1095 steel. Tops does a great job with their 1095. Been using Tops knives for years, and they always do well. Now, this has kind of a flat gray coating on the upper portion and then a satin finish on the blade edge itself, this modified Scandi grind, and that's what we're looking at here, is this modified Scandi grind with a great drop point, huge amount of belly. Now, if you've been watching the channel for a while, high saber grinds in a knife of this size would be my preference. So going into that, I was like, okay, well, let's see how this, shorter grind with a Scandi, setup works. And I got to tell you, I was shocked, honestly, at how well this thing did at bushcraft tasks, carving tasks, but then held its edge when I was doing harder, either splitting of wood, pretty heavy chopping for a knife of under 10 ounces, just hacking at many branches and delimbing. Didn't have any chipping, rolling, or anything like that, but still had that wicked fine edge you find on Scandi grinds. So if you're into Scandi grinds and you're looking for this style of blade and this kind of heavier, overbuilt, if you will, blade compared to, say, like a Mora, or a Hella knife or something like that, this thing is phenomenal and performed far beyond any expectation that I had, and really performed exceptional in the bushcraft style tasks. Your feather stick making, your notching, your all those type of things that you would do and expect out of a knife with a Scandi grind. Wow. And to be able to still retain its edge, because Scandi grinds tend to be a little flimsier, tend to be a little bit thinner, when you're doing harder tasks. But because this knife is bigger and, if you will, almost overbuilt for a bushcraft knife, you are able to get that higher level of performance that you wouldn't get out of, say, like a smaller compact bushcraft knife from Scandinavia or something like that. So So I just wanted to run in real fast here the Becker BK2 in comparison to the tops, just because when I saw the Brakimo, I was like, you know what, that looks a lot like the BK2, but they're worlds apart in how they're designed. So those of you who maybe already own a BK2 or you're kind of weighing, because again, they're very similar. They have a lot of the same specs. They're both 1095. They're both going to be, you know, right over 5 inches in blade length. They both kind of have this hook out the back, but the tops is going to be much thinner on the handle. So that's something to consider, as well as thinner on the spine. And then, you know, you are getting a different style of grind, more of a modified Scandi versus a high saber. And so to just kind of give you an idea, a perspective, hopefully, the BK2 is like a bulldozer. I mean, it's a monster tank of a knife that can chop and that can split and is really next to indestructible. The downside is it's rather heavy. It's going to be almost 6 ounces heavier than this guy, and it is just kind of cumbersome. You can absolutely do some, you know, field task work with it and camp tasks and all that, but it's not necessarily the knife you're going to want to do a bunch of bushcraft style tasks with, whereas the Brakimo is much thinner, much more agile, where this is a bulldozer. Maybe this would be more like a sports car, is the connotation, or, you know, adaptation between the two. And that's where you'll see the differences, is that this is much more nimble, much finer edge, and can do the finer stuff. Yeah, it won't split wood quite as well, it won't chop quite as well as a BK2, but it's going to be much finer and be not as fatiguing in the hand, just because of the weight and handle design being thinner, and, you know, just kind of a different feel in your hand. So depending on what type of style you're looking for, more of a bulldozer style blade, BK2 may be the answer. If you're looking for more of the finer, detailed bushcraft knife, that's where the Brakimo comes in. All right, folks, let's hit the handle here. We got tan micarta handle scales, nice and slim, and I'll be running in the dimensions as we talk through here, and noticeably slim for the size of knife. It's about half the thickness, as you would expect, like on that BK2 that we've run in here. And I like that it offers that, and Top's kind of known for that, of making slimmer, smaller handles. So for those of you who like that, you're going to dig this a lot. All the angles are really contoured well. They've given us kind of some hills and valleys. Just feels really good in my large size hands, and I share that with you, as you guys know, so that you can get a good perspective in the video of, okay, would that fit my medium size hands or my extra large size hands? I have about an extra finger length on the back end here, and I love that little bit of a hook that gives me really good purchase. So if I am doing some light hacking, just clearing off some limbs, I don't want to go grab my machete or my axe, you know, and I just want to do some light limb clearing, it gives me that capability and keeps the knife in my hand really securely. We got some really nice scallops right here on either side, so I can do a pinch kind of pull grip if I'm doing some skinning. If I'm doing more of a bushcraft, you know, chest lever grip, it fits perfectly right there. So I really like those little scallops that they've given us. Bow drill hole on either side, so you can do that if you're really into that type of stuff. And just really well done. Really clothy feel as well. I like that. So it just gives me a really good grip and purchase. Doesn't give me any hot spots, and just gives me the ability to get those camp and bushcraft style tasks done, as well as giving me a really good purchase on the back end for that light hacking that I may want to do and not waste time going back over and finding my machete or my axe or wherever it may be. So overall, guys, really like that handle ergonomics. Just be aware of the thinness of the blade, of the handle, in comparison to some of the other stuff out there on the market. Gotta love it. Very nice, slim taco design Kydex sheath. Fantastic, no complaints with it. They did a really good job with the design here. You got your little drainage hole, very slim. I love that. You got your 360-degree rotatable belt clip that you could attach to different things as well. Good thumb ramp right there. Clicks it off into place and clicks it right back in. Fantastic, zero complaints, and as always, Tops does a great job when they put Kydex on their blades. No exception with this knife. Love the sheath. So as we look at the price and talk about the value, I want to thank Tops for being willing to send this over to us to review and give us the ability to review it for you, the viewers. So I want to thank Tops for that, and it gives you guys the chance to be able to see this. We can talk about it and see whether or not it's going to fit inside one of your systems that you may be building for camping or bushcrafting or whatever it may be. Now, when you go online, and I'll have links in the description below, KnifeWorks and Amazon are the links that we'll have. This will go for about $135 on average. You know, prices may fluctuate, but right around 135 bucks. You're getting good, you know, Kydex, micarta, machine micarta, and you're getting, you know, the 1095 from a really good US company. So for that price, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck, and you know, your performance that you'll be getting out of this, I think is well worth that price that you would be paying, and is right in the sweet spot for the market. All right, folks, time to wrap up this review and give you my final thoughts on the knife, as well as kind of comparing it to the Tops Bob. For those of you that already own a Tops Bob, this is what you'll see as a difference. You're getting longer blade length. You're actually getting a thinner spine. This is 0.18. The Bob is 0.19. Because of the higher blade from edge to spine, that being taller, you actually have a better relief edge. So in my opinion, from everything that I've seen, this actually performs slightly better than the Bob in the cutting task, just because of geometry and angles and all that type of stuff. You know, you are getting a bigger belly as well. Zero jimping, that was another thing. You know, the Tops Bob has a lot of heavy jimping. This one does not. And then finally, even though this is about 1/4 of an ounce lighter than the Tops Bob at under 10 ounces, this has that hook, and that gives you actually better hacking capability than the Bob has. So you're actually able to do lighter delimbing tasks easier and feel more comfortable and feel more confident in your grip than you would on the Tops Bob. And then obviously the Kydex Sheath, and they're right about the same price, within about $10 of each other. So when it really comes down to it, if you already own a Tops Bob, obviously you have to decide, is this worth, you know, upgrading to? For those of you that you're sitting there and you're like, I'm thinking about Tops Bob, I'm thinking about the Brakimo, I think this one is actually the slightly better choice that will give you more capabilities in your overall camp and bushcraft style tasks. And so in conclusion, guys, honestly, if you're into scanty grinds and you like this lower, you know, design of a grind, I have yet to really get my hands on a full tang, you know, Kydex Sheath, under $150 USA made knife that can compete with what this is doing. And the Brakimo and what Joe Flowers has done, just wow, really, really good camp knife in a scanty grind fashion. And honestly, the only hang up would be depending on handle thickness and depending on how you prefer your handles to be. Thin, you know, these are thinner than maybe a lot of other ones on the market, and you just have to decide, is that a big deal to you or not? Other than that, I mean, wow, they really outdid themselves in the design by Joe, and then the execution of that design by Tops. So guys, I hope that helps you out with your decision making, whether or not this is going to fit inside one of your camp bushcraft systems or not. As always, thank you for coming over here, checking out the channel. Please subscribe, comment, like, share this video. Love to hear your guys' thoughts. Check us out on all the relevant social media. And as always, remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.